we go. Let's see what these fighters have in store. Almost had it, but it gets blocked. Drive impact's no good, but it's needed to apply pressure and take the bite out of the drive gauge. Maintains composure and fights out of the corner. On dangerous turf. Easy to get tagged at this range. Downs him. Blocks the jump in. The low heavy hits. Uses a long-range attack there to zone them perfectly. Burnout is triggered. Gets the jump in. Life lead opens up. Player 2 has completely used all their drive gauge, but they're experiencing burnout. KO! Player 2 draws first blood and it's on the board. Can they keep the momentum? Got too greedy. All right, who's gonna swing first? Shows him, makes the hit, and keeps on trucking. Headbutt. Player 2 has the life lead. Can they build on this? Time to sit on the lead. Target lock and scoop. Full SA meters on deck from both sides. This could be over soon. This is where smart meter management is going to come into play. Our fighters will need to tread carefully. Reads the jump in perfect. Knockdown and experiencing burnout. Looking for the overhead this time. Player 2 can't use critical art now. Down and out. This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Final round. Who with the fighting game god makes the hit and keeps on trucking. Jumps up. Oh, does them dirty. Crowds them from above. Knock them out of the air. Player 1 needs to take advantage of this gauge disparity. A jump in. The low kick hits. In with the cross-up. That's gonna leave him wrapped. Player 1 is in dark times with burnout. Anti-air in the clutch. Keeps him out. Russian handshake. Player 1 can't use any drive. Ooh, taking a roll. You can't teach that. Ooh, I've seen a lot of fights in my day, but nothing even comes close to this. It is not over. They want that run back. How's it going to unfold? Jumps up, solid anti-air. They're trading attacks. Good job blocking the jump in. They're showing us just how patient they can be. Blocking a jump in attack leaves you at a disadvantage, so it's better to try an anti-air instead. Charges in with authority. Player 1 is just about out of drive after that. How much damage can they deal before the opponent's drive gauge replenishes? Nails the anti-air. Heading into the end game now, it's getting tense. Player 1 is gonna have to wait for that drive gauge. Can they stick it out? They don't need to go for anything big. Even a light tap could be there. Player 1 picks up the first round. That'll give him a psychological advantage. Creates distance to try to get a read on the opponent. Big, low, reaching heavy. Gets the jump in. Neither of them willing to give up ground here. Holds out with the block. Brushes that off and keeps going. Player 2 has the life lead. Can they build on this? Bravo-se. The hit throw connects. Player 2 needs to use the threat of the corner here. Connects with the Rambarse to boost their meta level. Player 2 is holding on to that corner advantage. Medium kick. Low heavy connected? This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Opts to create space to start. It's time for both. Knock them out of the air. That's gonna leave them wrapped. Jump! Crowns them from above. Taking chunks out of the jump and eats it. Withdraws them. There's a burnout. Stuff. Noticeable life lead is a comeback steal. The low's blocked. Keeps him out. What now? Sets up with the jump in. Get ready to be thrown to the sun. Player 2, this is gonna hurt. Looking for the overhead this time. Excellent read. The next touch may decide this round. Are you for real? Are you for real? Player one! Stop!
Here comes a new challenger.
These two have more beef than a barbecue in Texas. Let's see them duke it out. Let's see what they try and do here in this first round. Almost had it, but it gets blocked. They block it, but the gap is closed. Player two pushes the opponent into the corner. Looks like they've heard this one before. Player two maintaining the corner pressure for some juicy damage. The attack is parried. Throws to get around their defense. Time to do some damage after that wall splash. Life lead opens up. Knockdown. The corner makes it hard to escape. What'll be the setup here? Timely side switch there, which will let them go on the attack. They break things off to take a quick breather. The drive impact is denied. Ties a bow on it with a nice drive impact. Good sense there to let it rip. Player two picks up the first round. That'll give him a psychological advantage. How will they take advantage of everything that's happened up until now? Planting trees and people with the power driver. Jump! Double lariat and down. Player one has the chance to win the round if they can put their drive to good use. They're backed up and it's there! See what eating the spinach does for you kids? What a win! They choose to run it back. Let's get right to it. Goes for the throw. Cross-up block. Track that jump nicely. They get the distance they want. Let's see their approach. Player two pushes the opponent into the corner. What are they thinking here? Player two is mixing it up and has them shaking in the corner. All right, what's up now? Player two needs to deal with this burnout. We have one player in burnout state, which means they'll have to continue the fight temporarily without using any drive-reliant moves. Player two is almost dead, but some clutch drive moves and a few... There's a wall splash. They KO. Player one picks up the first round. That'll give him a psychological advantage. Hopes with the medium kick. The fighters continue to check. He takes the hit and keeps on trucking. Player one... Ooh, burnout activates. Player two is in a pretty good situation with the meter advantage. What separates the good from the great in this game is the smart meter management. Player one has an empty drive gauge. This is a very precarious situation. Jumps in. Jumps. What a smart throw! Player one, oh my God, we've got a stun. Combo, they're going for the super arc? Excellent read. The super doesn't hit. Full drive on deck. Blocking that drive impact isn't going to work. Forward throw, laying the pressure on six. Player one can't let this sit. They gotta start cooking. Reach out and hug them. Work that butter hard. Here's the final round. The real fight starts now. Hopes with a kick. Go heavy. Experiencing burnout. Overhead, but it won't work. Player one is in dark times with burnout. Knockdown. Here comes the mix-up. Great pokes. Perfect range to zone the opponent. Looking for a hold. Player two can't use drive anymore. Gotta do better than that. Player perfect read with the anti-air. The throw connects. Will the super art do anything? Excellent read. What were they thinking? Teach them a lesson. They're hurt big time. Amazing. Noticeable like you're done. Player one was an absolute beast. not over. They want that run back. How's it going to unfold? Parry. Spinning bird kick. Both fighters are looking for a way to get in, but there's still time to fill out the situation. Both looking for an opening. They want to get in and do damage. The throw hits. Now it's time for some fun. Player one chases them down. Buy some time by driving them into the corner, and now they can create some big chances to do damage here. Player one maintaining the corner pressure for some juicy damage. What's their game plan here at this critical stage? All right, what's coming next? And tech the throw. Takes a trip in a dire situation. Hits. Player one picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. They've piled up the knowledge. Now how are they to spend some meters to add super damage to the combo? Now can they finish the job? Takes the hit and keeps on trucking. Planting trees and people with the power driver. What'll happen here? Player one in dire straits with burnout. Out of drive gauge. Now's the time. Pick the air throw. The spacing is so on point right now. Baits out the attack and gets the punish counter. There's a Russian suplex. Big, meaty damage. Checks with the medium kick. Are they going to be able to come? Uses their drive gauge. Or with the overhead denied. Looks like they're looking for the overhead this time. What now? Down and out. Here's the final round. The real fight starts now. Connects with the medium kick. Spinning burst. Spins some meter here, investing in the round. Hits the social drive, and is going to give them a rapid beatdown for some serious damage. Player one, were they looking to connect with an overdrive arc from this situation? Punish counter sets the table for big damage. Russian scoops with the suplex. What now? Player one below. Great pokes, perfect range to zone the opponent. That's gonna leave him wrapped. Things are very tense as this exchange continues. Will this super art do anything? Puts them in the blender and heats up the oven. What'll be the mix-up? Goes for the fireball to force a reaction. Knockdown, here comes the mix-up.
The sweet.
Noticeable light breaks through with the throw. Player two is a...
Here comes a new challenger.
Everyone's getting fired up and we're just ready to get started.
Showtime, baby! I'll take on all of you! Round one. Fight!
Let's see what they try and do here in this first round. Checks with the projectile. We're still early in the round. Both fighters are pretty much unscathed. Both looking for an opening. They want to get in and do damage. The fighters are at a standstill. They gotta be cooking up something. The low kick connects. Picks up some damage with a long-reaching attack. Player two pushes the opponent into the corner. Not shy with the grab. Next hit will end the round. Hail! Player two on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on. Carries the projectile. Overhead. This fight is just underway. What kind of game plan do they have? At this range, many attacks connect if you stick something out. The neutral game is so important. Hope you enjoyed the show. Jackknife Maximum Connect. Blocks the impact. Uses the impact to shave off some of the drive game. Planting trees and people with the power driver. Ups the damage on them, willing to risk it for the overdrive. This just goes for it at this range. Looking for a chance. Shows off the air slash. Experiencing burnout. Could be looking to start something. The next interaction is really going to set the pace. Nice air slash. You need to spend some meter here in order to close out the round. Player two can't use any drive moves. Gotta play it safe. Both of them back off. They may be prepping for a final exchange. They back down to regroup. This may be the final push. Medium kick hits. Goes for the air slasher. Looking for a whole butterfinger. Oh, there's a burnout. Gets it on the fireball. This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Creates distance to try to get a read on the opponent. Up into the air off the just cool. Player one is proving it's not over till it's over. Watch and learn. Breaks it. Reach out and hug him. Gotta be willing to risk it for the overdrive. Player one can't use drive anymore. Nice air flash. Player one has a big drive gauge lead. Okay, nobody blink. This is gonna hurt. They've got the low kick hit. Oh, you deflection of the checkpoint. Both sides getting ready. They're in range, burns out. That's gonna leave them wrapped. Player two can't use any drive move. Opens them right up. Player two is gonna be watching replays of this one for a while. They really took it down to the wire. It is not over. They want that run back. How's it going to unfold? The parry. Player one will look to apply pressure here. Keeping them in the corner will only produce more damage opportunities. Player one has the life lead. Can they exploit this advantage? So they break forward to pressure the opponent. Gets a chance with the jump in. You can open up chances to do big damage by baiting something out, getting that opening, and then jumping in. Player one doesn't have a lot of drive gauge to play with. They gotta watch out. Jumps up, somehow pushes back, experiencing burnout. A quick breather. One combo can end this round right now. Goes for the super art. Both out of KO. Player one picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. Headbutt. Ooh, are we going to see? Nice counter. That attack landed for a counter hit. They'll have to decide how to follow up. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. Air slash. Drive rush to keep it going. Using moves out of drive rush for advantage is good for creating new chances. Connects with the medium kick. Springs forward with the drive rush. A quick breather. Avoids a dangerous corner situation. Super clutch corner switch. What do they do? A back throw for damage and vital position. They must have a game plan here with a critical arc on looking for the overhead this time. Overhead, but it won't work. That's not gonna hit. The low. In attack range. Are they going to be able to come back and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Dangerous range here. Noticeable life lead. Is a comeback still possible? Blocks it. Down and out. We're going into the final round tied up. Which fighter has it in them to grind out the win? Final round. Who brushes that off and keeps going? Ooh, thank this kid leads to some big damage. Fireball pressure, hold it down. Overdrive jackknife sends him down the quick way. It just bets it all on the drive rush. Plenty of health, full cross-up attack. Flash the jackknife. So what's next? Anti-air in the clutch. Player two is in a very good spot now. Both sides getting ready. What are they gonna do? A jump in. Player two needs to use their drive moves to have any chance of a comeback. Hits the tips with the low heavy. Player one was an absolute beast in that match. It is not over. They want that run back. How's it going to unfold? A parry. This time the perfect parry, but it is still safe. Very nice anti-air there. They read their opponent like a book. Wow, shut down. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. This is where things will get interesting as the damage starts to pile up on both fighters. Reads the overhead well and blocks. Alright, what's coming next? Air flash. Springs forward with hits. Player one draws first blood and it's on the board. Can they keep the momentum? How will they take advantage of everything that's happened up until now? Player one did a great job of reading their opponent up close that last round, and they keep up the momentum. At this range, many attacks connect if you stick something out. The neutral game is so important. Player two is working with a better gauge. What can they do with it? Drive rush to keep it going. Closes the distance. Machine gun uppercut rips. What'll happen? He brushes that off and keeps going. Sets up with the jump in, planting trees and people with the power driver. Flash through the techno. Taking his bets at all on the drive rush. The next touch may decide this round. Burns out. The low block. Player two can't use any drive moves. Gotta play it safe. Closes it out. This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Trying to make something happen with the overdrive arc. Hope you enjoyed the show. Jackknife Maximum connects. Player one is in a perfect read with the anti-air. Overhead, but it won't work. Low heavy. Plenty of help. Drops that off. This is a compression scoop with the suplex. Escapes the corner. Oh, blocks the low kick. What are they gonna do? With super arts into play, it crowns them from above. A jump in. Noticeable life lead. Is a comeback still possible? Okay. Wall super, oh my lord. Perfect damage calculation. No doubt about it. Perfectly planned, perfectly executed. Player one made some smart moves there. Great game.
Here comes a new challenger.
We got a good match on deck right now, and no one's gonna want to blink once the action gets started.
No mercy for you.
Round one. Fight.
Here we go. Let's see what these fighters have in store. The drive impact nets them a sweet punish counter. You have to be careful not to mash your swing too wildly. That's dangerous turf. Easy to get tagged at this range. Starts with the jump in. You can open up chances to do big damage by baiting something out, getting that opening, and then jumping in. Player one chases him down. Hey-oh! Player one draws first blood, and it's on the board. Can they keep the momentum? They both showed their hands a little bit, so they must be thinking of a counter. Headbutt! Things are slow going right now, but we may see someone speed things up soon. Takes a trip. Throws him. What's next? Throw option, always good for the damage. Still struggling for control of the neutral. Or takes the hit and keeps on trucking. They return to center stage. Knockdown and... I hope it's too much. That was a clinic on how a solid neutral game wins matches. They choose to run it back. Let's get right to it. Lands a punish counter for the first hit. Player one with the life lead. Can they exploit this advantage? Will they hit, whip, charge in? Tricky territory here. Plenty of space between the two fighters, but who will decide to close the gap? Picks up some quick damage with that combo. Decent damage. What's next? The combo's there. Very nice anti-air there. They read their opponent like a book. All right, what's coming next? Player two doesn't have a lot of drive gauge to play with. They gotta watch out. What a clutch side switch there. Now's the time to capitalize. In a dire situation, they can't afford any mistakes. Jumps! The corner makes it hard to escape. Oh! Ends around with a punish counter, living in the opponent's head rent-free right now. Player two draws first blood and is on the board. And they keep the momentum, planting trees and people with the power driver. Player one can work with this lead. There's been some back and forth, but no clear leader in the fight. Both baits out the attack and gets the punish count. Goes for the level 3 super art to show them this is how we roll in this town. Player 2 needs to watch their life, but with super art in place, burnout activates. A little extra damage, experiencing burnout. Player 2 is in a very good spot now. Needs to find a chance to seal the deal here. Drive usage back on the table. KO! Here's the final round. The real fight starts now. Medium kick. Jump! Siberia's calling and they got a bed for you. Player 1 is barely. Give him some of that PDA. This is a bad situation. Perfect read with the anti-air. Player 2 over in the flat. You gotta hand it to both.
A new challenger.
This isn't about just winning the match. Pride and bragging rights are at stake here. Both fighters will need to bring their A game to the table. Here we go. Let's see what these fighters have in store. Oh, the command grab doesn't make it. Denies the jumping attack with a jumping attack of their own. Jump in finds the mark. You can open up chances to do big damage by baiting something out, getting that opening, and then jumping in. Player 2 creates a good corner opportunity. This range is where it gets interesting. You gotta utilize the reach of your moves to bait out and attack. Ooh, adds on a bit extra to top off their damage output. Drive rush to keep it going. They need to rely on their instant. Low heavy connected. Player 1 on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on. Long low attack hits. Ooh, are we going to see some fireworks here? Springs forward with the drive rush. Closes the distance. Side switch out of the corner. Player 2 will look to apply pressure here. They gotta be careful not to overextend or their opponent might go for the side switch. They decide to take a drive rush to keep it going. Player 1 can't use any drive moves without burning out. At least one of them is having a good time in that corner. What'll happen here? This is the turning point. They gotta turn it around. They're backed up into the corner. Win some meter here, investing in the round. Captured up with a decisive combo. This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Creates distance to try to get a read on the opponent. Player 1 needs to use that drive gauge better if they want to take things back. Both players look for something to work with, but neither are getting the opening they want. They're waiting for the opportunity to bust this match wide open. Just the springs forward with the drive rush. The spacing is so on pace to hit, it keeps on trucking. There's the drive impact. That's gonna lead to a juicy punish count.
Come on. It's time to
Spends
train.
all that juice on the super art. Not trying one bit about it. Both fighters' drive gauges might be burned out, but the fire's still blazing. Are we going to see a comeback? Whoa! Critical art now?
Witness my
You know he practices this move on bears, right? What did you think would happen? I hope you got life bar insurance.
My wrestling is unstoppable.
They're in range. We're gonna see a jump in, a dash.
Jamie.
I've seen a lot of fights in my day, but nothing even comes close to this one. Uh-oh, get below. Jumps in. The jump in is the planting trees and people with the power driver. Very dangerous range. You can definitely get clipped by something. Turns it up a notch and sends them to the corner. Knockdown. Player 1 needs to be cautious with drive gauge. They can't even get sneezed on. The comeback's gonna be tough now. Can they do it? KO. Player one picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. Just goes for it to stop the opponent's flow.
Jumps in.
Adds parry to the pressure. Not a perfect parry, but I'll take it. That's a big gap. Who's gonna close it? Out of range, relatively safe. Player two can't use any drive moves without burning out. Drive gauge gap here. Dashes up. Nails the overdrive arrow kick. What'll happen here? Player two needs to use the threat of the corner here. KO. This is the final round. Expect to see some fireworks. Hello. Strikes back with his overdrive arrow. The low block. The Houdini low block crowns it from above. Full SA meters on deck for both sides. Just hold it down. Uses the impact to shave off some of the drive gauge. Turning it all the way up with the super.
Come on. It's time to trade.
Oh, this super art could change the makeup of this match. Player one is in burnout state. A very careless break. Player stunned. You might not want to see this. Down and out. You gotta hand it to both our fighters. They put on a real...
A new challenger.
Both fighters are ready to get started. I can't wait to see what kind of tricks they have up their sleeves. Let's see what they try and do here in this first round. Well-timed command throw there. Player one has the life lead. Got a small life lead, but it's not over. Player one doesn't have a lot of drive gauge to play with. Gotta watch out. How much damage can they deal before the opponent's drive gauge replenishes? We have one player in burnout state, which means they'll have to continue the fight temporarily without using any drive-reliant moves. Player two chases them down. Adds parry to the pressure. Not shy with the grab. Takes the jump in. Heading into the end game now. It's getting tense. Takes a trip. This one delivers the pain right to their doorstep. Safely buffs the metal up. KO. Player two on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on. Creates distance to try to get a read on the opponent. There's the drive impact. That's going to lead to a juicy punish counter. Dashes forward. That's some big, juicy damage on that counter. Takes the hit and keeps on trucking. Planting trees and people with the power driver. Knockdown and max SA gauges. They both have a chance to score a big payday. Gotta be careful not to whip at this range. Pokes with the medium kick. Crowns it from above. A real test of nerves here. Quick medium poke. Jumps down and out. Last round, people. Both fighters gotta go all in from this point. They exchange blows. They're going for the super art? It's all that juice on the super art. Not shy one bit about it.
Your great test.
Siberia's calling and they got a bed for you. What now? Are we going to see a comeback here? This is so tense. Wraps it up with a throw. You gotta hand it to both our fighters. They put on a real clinic for it. It is not over. They want that run back. How's this going to unfold? Charges forward. Safely buffs the metal up. Hits with the overhead. The impact gets blocked. You You can block impact, but it's still going to cause you some drive gauge. Super armor does its job. Player 2 is just about out of drive after that. All right, what's coming next? Secures the jump in. Parries the attack. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. Both fighters are just hanging on by a thread, but their drive gauges are a different story. Headbutt. Shows the medium kick. Gutsy play with the grab. KO! Player 2 picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. Impact shut out. Hits with the overhead. Not shy with the grab. Player 2 has a slight life lead that they may sit on. There's been some back and forth, but no clear leader in the fight. Player 2 will look to apply pressure here. Ooh, burnout activates. They just won't stop switching sides. Player Pro super arm. That was a clinic on how a solid neutral game wins matches. They choose to run it back. Let's get right to it. Absorbs the attack, lands a punish counter for the first hit. Picks up some quick damage with that combo. What's going to follow the combo? Goes for the command grab. Player 1 doesn't have a lot of drive stock, and that's going to affect their ability to play the neutral game. If the drive gauge is completely empty, the player will enter burnout and won't be able to use drive for a period of time, so it's vital to not let that happen. And a dire goes for the super art. This is looking bad. What are they gonna do? Reads them. The big play does it. Player 2 on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on. They both showed their hands a little bit, so they must be thinking of a counter. Who gained control of the match in the early going? Nice, perfect parry there. What's the next move? Player 2 is in a pretty good situation with the meter of planting trees and people with the power driver. Going in? Gotta be mindful of reach and jump ins at this range. Player 2 target lock and scoop. It's too much. We're going into the final round tied up. Which fighter has it in them to grind out the win? Last chance, it's now or never. Pokes with the medium kick. Was hungry for the grab. Swan Lake is on fire now. Look at the damage. Saw it all. Blocks it well. Siberia is calling and they got a bad pursuit. Player 1 is in a very good spot now. They're taking a step back to slow down the pace. Player 1 is dangerously close to running out of the throw. Connects. Overhead. Meets them air to air. Player 2 with the rhythm, owning that space. This can lead to some big damage. Player 1 is just gonna go for it with the super. Big gauge difference here and it's over. Player 1 is gonna be watching replays of this one for a while. They really